Um, so a couple more things about the mouse button. Well, the zooming in and out, obviously, with the scroller, and if you keep the middle mouse button clicked, you can pan the view. You can also zoom in and zoom out using the keys here, and you can jump into any previous zooms using the green thing over here. Whoop. And you can also use fit view, and everything that you have drawn is going to fit into view. You can also have different other views. So if we select different views down here, and we can obviously arrange these views accordingly. So if you go into the view tab, you can put tile, and it'll tile them up. Or if we want, let's say we want view 1 to be the big one over here, we want these views to be like small views on the left here. Just roughly arrange them a little bit. Just roughly arrange that. And here, and then you just press arrange. It'll automatically try and remove any gaps that exist. So now you have your views. Now we're not interested in having any more views. We're just going to have the one view, which is fine with us. And just remember that anything you want to zoom in, zoom out, or pan, they're all up here. And yeah, so the next thing we're going to look into is levels. Levels are basically layers in AutoCAD, but it's called levels here. So if we go into Home button and we look up here, we have our level manager. So if we left click on level manager, you'll see our different levels. Actually, before we go into level manager, we're going to go into level display. And so we're going to go zoom into here so you can see what we're doing. So level display effectively just allows us to look at what levels we have and look at which ones are used. We can also, if we left click, we can arrange them depending on the used ones or unused ones. I only have 2 layers that are unused at the moment. And if I left click on the name, I can arrange them in terms of ascending or descending order from numbers to alphabetically, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The teal color here that you can see is different. That's just my active layer. So if I click on any one of these layers, it will deactivate the layer. So, or if I right click, I can go off by element. And if I left click that, any element I select, it will stop viewing them. So for example, the green plants here, if I left click on them, it just, you'll see that it has actually turned that layer off. There we go, now I've turned it back on. So that is how you can work with your layers. And you can also manage your layers. So what does manage layers? Well, it's similar to AutoCAD. You can create new layers and you can assign them a specific color. You can assign them a specific line type, and you can assign them a specific line weight, right? So let's say we want it to be like that, and if we are to double click, so we make that into our active layer and we draw with it, you'll see that we are creating, well, essentially in that specific level. We can also rename it by clicking and change any settings we want on this particular layer. And once we use it, it also marks it as used. So it's actually used within our drawing. So this is how you can create new layers and then adjust them accordingly, and also work with your layers by turning some off. In the selection tool as well, what you can do is if you press space before we go there, and you go into primary, you can quickly select your level displays and your level manager. You can also, if we go here, we can also using our selection tool, we can use, we can just select our particular tool and then just, well, where are we? Select all, yeah. So in our selection tool, we can select everything from that element if we basically go in the element selection tools and we go down here and just choose the level that we want to select, and it'll select anything on that level. So let's say we want the walls here, or these walls there. Depending on what element it is that you're selecting in here, what level it is, then it will just select that particular level. So if we want to select all of the green plants, we go into our level that's the green plants in, and we just select that. And that is how you can play around and work with your levels and, well, essentially layers in AutoCAD.